Thank you, Jimmy.
Gracias.
Hey, John, just give me a sound check real quick.
Sound check, 1, 2.
This guy.
Live from the land that freedom forgot. Listen to the Second Amendment Broadcasting Unleashed. Do it. And we are here live, Anthony.
At SafeCon, the fourth SafeCon. It started here 4 years ago, and here's the fourth one today. And here, who's with me? None other than John Willett. This was his idea, his baby. The second camera on the GoPro is showing the comings and goings in the hallway where there's a few exhibitors, but there's another exhibitor hall, and there's a conference hall where there's a lineup of speakers that will blow you away on the SafeCon speaker list right here, NJ Safe. John set this up. Dr. Gianni Pirelli, Dan Schmutter, Louis Nappen, Scott Bach, Robert Ryerson, and Louis Terrio, Eric Rebels, Cam Edwards, me, Kalita, and who else is on? Tony Simon, 2A Podcasting. Then NRA lobbyist Darin Goens. Then women in the firearms community, and then the closing remarks. So without further ado, John Willett, whose baby is SafeCon. Now, John, before you get into it, I want to express a little bit of discontent because, wave to the camera right here to GoPro, okay? I want to talk a little discontent. See you next week.
Thanks for coming.
That 1 million gun owners in New Jersey. Let's be conservative and say there's 750,000 gun owners. And we have a few hundred patriots here showing their support. This place should have been busting out at the seams. John should have been sending a notice out 2 months ago that we were completely sold out, but we're not, all right? Unity and activism is key, but in New Jersey, all we have is apathy and complacency instead of unity and activism. John, without further ado, tell us positive stuff about the conference because I'm a little pissed off.
All right, so we are down south in extreme South Jersey here in Vineland because we move the conference around every year. We have over 200 people attending the conference this year at this venue, which is growth over the last time we were here because I'm not even including sponsors and speakers and exhibitors in that number. So we're having a fantastic day. Dr. Pirelli just gave an hour presentation that was some of the most in-depth information related to mental health and firearms that you can imagine getting in any venue. He was followed up by Dan Schmutter giving updates on the cases that are being filed and litigated by ANJRPC with NRA support. And he's breaking news here at the conference. And you're not going to get this anywhere else.
Share it.
We can't talk about it yet publicly, but if you're here at the conference, you'd be ahead of the curve.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd know exactly what was going on. Yeah. Some exciting things that we're going to be hearing more about, coming forward. And I couldn't be more pleased. We got Scott Bach talking now. We have Nappen up talking already. It's just a fantastic day. The best information you're going to get about the Second Amendment and firearms here in New Jersey.
You want to share the breaking news?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm under quarantine apparently.
They told you that?
Yeah.
Oh, we have to. So only the people here know about it.
Only people here are going to hear it.
That's horrible. So we have an all-star lineup here. Everybody's here breaking their humps, coming down 2-hour drive if you live in North Jersey. I see so many people here showing their support. Beacon Brass and Bob's Little Sports Shop have gone above and beyond the call of duty again. Gary Allison from Beacon Brass got me a few hundred petition signatures from South Jersey ranges and gun stores.
Gary got my signature. That guy is motivated.
He's kicking butt for me. The deadline to get the signatures to the range is Friday the 29th. They have to be to the range on Friday the 29th. So please, if you can, I would love for you to all come down and get the petitions to me so I can run a petition in January. The next, was that interference? That's not the plate in my head? I'm shutting it off. I just wanted to check to make sure the camera was okay, Sandy. So.
It's okay. Just keep...
No, I'm done. It's good. It's right where I want it to be. So, John, talk a little bit about this conference. Next year, I think we're going to get some other 2A groups involved and maybe move it to Central Jersey.
Absolutely. We're going to keep increasing participation like we have been. We're going to be going back to North Jersey. We'll find ourselves a new venue up there that can keep the lights on. Otherwise we'll just hug each other in the dark. Right?
Yes. Oh, my phone is irritating the system too. This is really horrible. We should have wrapped all of ourselves in tinfoil. The NRA is here. They have a booth set up. ANJRPC has a booth set up. CNJFO has a booth set up. It's just phenomenal to see so many people here. But again,
we have Jay Moore and companies supporting the conference again this year.
Mike Candido is the man. Thank you so much. We should have 100 supporters down here, John. And next year we're going to try to do it maybe a little differently and get it out there a little more. I know it's been hard. How much money did you make off this conference for the 4th year in a row?
So my accountant tells me that I'm going to have to reorganize this because I can't keep claiming losses on my taxes every year and still call it a business.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah, apparently the federal government doesn't like it when you say you're in business and you never make any money.
You never make any money.
It's
they think something's
horrible.
Suspicious.
But
I'm
richer with friends than I ever have been.
You're richer with friends. Hey, Patty, I got you on camera, Patty. Wave to the camera. Nice. There's Patty. So, John, it's really a great lineup of speakers that you have here, and there's so much educational stuff going on, and everybody's talking sidebar. Listen, how much were tickets to get in here?
$20.
For $20, you could have stopped Dan Schmutter, Evan
10
Nappen,
if you bought them in July.
Nappen, 10 if you bought them in July. I just don't understand it. And watch what's going to happen. The Mag Band, we're waiting. Next week, we're supposed to hear a decision from Judge Sheridan on the status of the injunction. And in September, wait till you see the lineup our legislators are going to have for us. There's about 60 bills right now bouncing around in the state of New Jersey, all right? And we talk about it all the time that what happens in New Jersey doesn't stay in New Jersey. I've gotten petitions mailed to me from Hawaii, Alaska, Minnesota, Wyoming, Texas, Tennessee, you name it. And a lot of people are attaching notes saying, hard to get you signatures because you're from New Jersey and people don't want to vote for you because you're in New Jersey. That's a strike against us.
And it's wrong. I mean, if you think about it, and the message from the conference here today is we're under the greatest threat that we've ever been under with the change in the executive branch, because we had a relatively favorable governor kind of protecting us before and taking some steps to advance right to carry with one of those vetoes that he did.
Correct.
But also at the same time, here in New Jersey, we're also creating new opportunities for ourselves through the litigation that ANJRPC and NRA are supporting, and also through the lobbying that folks here in New Jersey do, related to national carry and for judges being confirmed to Supreme Court. So, we're working on all those fronts with everybody, and in some cases creating our own opportunities.
Bloomberg, his Every Town for Gun Safety, plans to spend $8 to $10 million in Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, and New Mexico. Think about that. They're very smart. They're going to use their money in states that are pro-gun, and they're going to chip away at the iceberg, one little chip at a time, okay?
It looks like New Jersey.
Correct. We talked about Oklahoma a few weeks ago. You guys and girls that are out there listening, you've got to show your support. We have to put our support behind the NRA. Your state associations, except for Oklahoma, your state associations need your support. And guys like John, who are doing what he's doing to unify everybody. I mean, Mark Cheeseman's here, John Gillard's here with their lawsuit. There's just so many people here that are fighting, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. I mean, we have, what's his name? What's the governor's name? Governor Inslee? He's a Democrat, right?
From where?
I'm trying to think about where he's from. I'll get to it in a second. But Governor Inslee, here it is. Governor Inslee, he doesn't want to sign the certificates. This is Washington State. The Washington State Rifle and Pistol Association, whenever anybody gets an award from the CMP, from the Civilian Marksmanship Program, the certificates are signed by the governor.
Now he doesn't want to sign
He won't sign them because it's attached to the NRA.
Okay.
It's an because all the NRA does with the CMP matches is unify and compile the scores for national rankings. The NRA doesn't have anything else to do with the CMP matches, and the governor of Washington State won't sign these young kids' certificates.
It's a battle against the NRA, and the kids are falling victim to politics.
If you're not a member of the NRA, you need to be a member of the NRA. Listen, we disagree with some issues with the NRA. I know there's the whole bump stock issue, but look at this, Mitch McConnell. It's almost 2 years the House passed the national reciprocity, and it's sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk. The midterms are so important to us that we get more Republicans in. Even though most of them are rhinos, they're better than Democrats. John, what do you have to say about this?
I think what you're talking about with Washington State there is important. You know, folks who are out in those western states or those more gun-friendly states, it's so easy for that to change and flip if people aren't going to meetings and staying awake and knowing what's going on in their own state.
Thank you, John. John's out. Dar. You killed it. You can have the rest of the water.
Thanks.
Thank you. Who do you want on next? We'll have Cam last after Darin. Who do you want on next? Maybe Schmutter. He can talk about. You think Schmutter can talk about his thing? I'll ask him.
Scott was telling him not to, I think.
Oh,
Scott always tells me.
Scott Bach ruins everything.
Court cases, because I'm not sure
No.
speed on any of that.
Grab that chair. Darin Goens. Pull in close. He's going to do a sound check on you.
Check, baby. 1, 2, 3. Check, baby. Check.
Nice. Okay, coming out of the ring. And stand by.
And this segment is brought to you by Medallion Chiropractic, Madalian. Medallion Chiropractic is in Wayne, New Jersey on Valley Road. He is a chiropractic doctor extraordinaire. Support those who support us. He's only 4 miles from the range in Wayne, New Jersey. If you live within a 30-mile radius of Medallion Chiropractic, you should be going to see him. He can help you. If you don't, give him a 5-star review, share him with your friends and family. Support those who support us. So, who do we have on the show today? None other than Darin Goens. Darin, what's your title?
Well, they changed it. Now I'm technically state director, but I'm basically a state liaison, state lobbyist.
Darin is down in Trenton fighting for us every
Director
time.
sounds good, so.
He's the director. Darin is down there fighting for us all the time. I gave him a free water. You got that, right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. And shut up, Sandy. And you know, he's back there. He works with the legislators. He works with our lobbyist, Rob Nixon. He works with Scott Bach closely, and he's down there every time in Trenton trying to give some sanity. And you know, Darin, there's some things you can and cannot talk about, but we're in for a whooping in the fall, aren't we?
I don't know about the fall, but definitely, you know, as we turn the calendar pages of 2019, it could be. I mean, here's the thing. We've said this all along. I get that people are frustrated in New Jersey. I'm a gun owner here too. We're all frustrated, but things can get worse. And we saw that earlier this spring. And listen, I think it's a tsunami, and this was the first wave of it.
It's coming.
Yeah.
And there's nothing we can do except testify and then lawsuits, correct?
Well, certainly the best option for us is definitely going to be in the courts, because the New Jersey legislature and the governor have just proven that they're completely detached from the Constitution. Now, having said that, you got to fight. I mean, Scott Bach has said this all along: is that if you don't fight and if you don't stand up, it's just as good as being complicit. And you can't make it easy for them, right? They got other issues. Marijuana, immigration, they're consumed with other stuff. And if we just roll over on the gun issue, it just makes it easy. And we've done anything but that. As you alluded to earlier, we've been down there at every time there's a hearing, we're getting our members engaged and calling and letting them know. And, we're going to keep fighting.
We're going to keep fighting. You can see the view, the conference center, they're taking a break, I think, for lunch. You can see how many people are coming out. A few hundred people are in there watching the presentations. Darin, you have a presentation after me at 3:40. And you drove 2 hours to get here as well, too?
Yeah, it was like 2:20. I'm hugging the New York border. So.
Yeah, so, and I had people complain about the distance of this on social media, which really riles me because, John made an effort every year to go from south, central, north. Now he's south again. What most people prefer is if we went to their house with it.
Right, exactly.
And maybe paid them as well.
No, I grew up in South Dakota. I had to drive an hour and a half for groceries, so it's like...
So, we've been pitching, make sure you join the NRA, make sure you join the State Association. What else can people do, Darin? Share with us what people listening to the show should be telling their friends and family that aren't wired into the 2A and aren't listening to the show. Share with us as much as possible.
That's a good question. I get asked that all the time. And aside from showing up at conferences, going to the State House in Trenton, because here's the deal. Every time we go down to Trenton, there's tons of red T-shirts with a million moms demand action, and those groups, and we're always severely outnumbered. So you know what does the other side do? Well, they go to hearings, so our people should be doing the same thing. But I thought about that question a little bit more. There's a lot of little subtle things that I think people forget. Like just a few weeks ago, I bought and gifted 3 NRA Life memberships to people. And the other thing is, the guys on my hockey team, they're all shooters now. I took 1 or 2 of them shooting.
Each one reach one.
Yeah, some of them have been at your range. These guys are contacting me about how to get FID cards, purchase permits, whatever, and almost 80% of my hockey team now are shooters. And one guy, they laugh because he goes out to Cherry Ridge almost every week. And the guy, he served in the military 20 years ago and hadn't picked up a gun since,
Colonel Oliver North, who's the president of the NRA now, he wants an initiative. He wants to go from 6 million to 12 million NRA members. And what Darin said, that's achievable because even, Christmas time is coming. Buy a few annual memberships for a few people in your family. If you have a niece or nephew being born, buy him a membership. We can double the numbers easily, and then maybe people will get hooked, they'll start reading the magazine. So each one reach one. Everyone should be reaching out and trying to do that.
But the real reason I got all these memberships is I needed to control a block of voting to help get me on the board.
To help get me on the board. Okay, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that.
It's getting deep in here.
I'm trying.
My waiters on.
While you say that, I want to take a second. I can't name you all by name, but every day that I come to work, there's 10 or 15 envelopes with petition signatures in them from people from all over the country. And I got to tell you right now, I needed 653 petition signatures, and right now I have 1,100 signatures verified by the NRA. And I'll probably have 1,500 by the deadline. And I couldn't do it if it wasn't for Gary Allison, Cliff Toy, Darin Goens, and all of these other people out there. Every day I come, some envelopes, most of them have 1 signature, some have 2, some have 30 signatures in them. And a big complaint we talked about is people say, well, he's from New Jersey, why would I vote for him? Look what happened in Oklahoma with the state association going against permitless carry. Please, people, Bloomberg, they're going to spend $8 million in pro-gun states. They're not stupid. Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, and New Mexico. Darin would love to work those 4 states, right? Compared to where you are. Tell everybody the states that you handle, Darin.
Well, now I do New York, New Jersey, Rhode Island, and Vermont.
Oh, they gave you Vermont.
Well, no. Did you see what happened in Vermont this year?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, in the middle of all the craziness.
Vermont used to be okay.
Yeah, in some respects, I saw Nappen sent out a couple posts or had a couple emails where he's like, can you believe it? He's like, now New Hampshire's gun laws New Jersey's gun laws are actually better than Vermont's in a couple areas.
Where are we going to go? We got to stop. We have to stand and fight. The NRA, their banner over there says stand and fight. We have to fight. But wouldn't it have been nice, Darin, if you had Nevada and New Mexico? But I also heard that the police pistol matches, the nationals that the NRA has for police officers, they're getting crap in New Mexico because the governor of New Mexico doesn't want the NRA matches held there anymore. In New Mexico.
You really bring up a good point there that I think that hasn't gotten a lot of discussion. That is, I've done this for 13 years, and I've seen the other side and their political sophistication has caught up immensely to
Yes,
us,
exactly.
and that's why in some of these pro-gun states are traditionally pro-gun. Now all of a sudden there's a fight there.
Well, they're
Yep.
targeting. If this is not by, we spoke about this 8 years ago, and they've been targeting the pro-gun states to infiltrate those states. It's all part of a plan. Everybody has to understand that progressivism isn't about running in and grabbing your salami and leaving. It's about taking it away from you one slice at a time so you don't notice. And it slips in. Look at, Darin, you see it here in New Jersey all the time. That we were talking off air about this, that when the MAG ban came through, the most disheartening thing was the phone calls, where can I turn my magazines?
Yep.
Instantly, the next day, that's their knee-jerk response. Okay, one more thing done. And it doesn't matter to them. They don't consider fighting anymore.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's the way to, and I've always said this, the way to ban firearms isn't to do it with a piece of legislation.
Right.
It's to do it culturally.
Yep.
And
that's what they're doing.
And if you put some of these laws on the books, make it a little bit tougher, make it so that you're going to face some sort of legal jeopardy if you get caught, severe legal jeopardy, if you get caught with something that's actually legal in the vast majority of other states, then all of a sudden the new gun owner, the guy that I go to on my hockey team, he says, hey, you want to go shooting, you want to get a firearm? I don't know. And then what you do is you wipe out an entire generation of young
Yes.
people who never get involved,
Yep.
and they win the war culturally.
Yeah.
They don't even have to ban the firearms. Pretty soon kids
Correct.
are just they don't even. No, I mean, when you talk about cultural differences, I mean, every November, as soon as election's over, I go back home for a couple of weeks and do some pheasant hunting. And you go to these little towns and communities, signs on the bar, on the grocery store, on the convenience store, welcome hunters. The whole economy is centered on the hunting season back there. Guys are driving around with shotguns in their vehicles, and you know what? There's no crime. There's no crime. Nobody's doing anything bad.
Last week's show, we reported the shooting. NSSF came out with a report. The shooting community contributes almost $17 billion a year to the economy. $17 billion a year, and we get steamrolled.
And people that for some of the people that aren't involved with it, you might look at that and say, or even the gun owners who don't hunt may be amazed by those dollar quotes. But I got to tell you, let's take for example Colorado. It's $650 for a bull elk tag. That's a hiking permit to go hunt on private land and walk around for a weekend. $650. It's $500 for a cow tag. That's just your tag. Now when I drive out there, gas cross country, you get out there. Some guys stay in hotels, gas. You dump easily a couple $1,000s to do this in South Dakota. A 10-day pheasant permit is $150. So the guys that are spending that just for the tags, they're spending it on other areas. And not only that, but those tags and fees are financing the conservation, the environment, and the habitat. And again, that's just the hunting portion of what we do. Obviously, the Second Amendment is much, much more about that. But the only reason I bring it up is that years ago, a person's introduction to firearms was through hunting. Where I grew up, we touched a gun for the first time because we wanted to go hunting.
Anthony, was yours? I know mine was.
What?
It was introduction into firearms being hunting.
Yes, me
Your
too.
shotgun.
I went to archery first. I went to Butts and Bows in Belleville. It's not. I took my hunter safety course, archery, and then to get my hunting license, I took the shotgun hunting course. And but then I never hunted. But that was my introduction.
That was your entry.
Correct.
And I mean, a lot of the high schools had rifle teams. That's yesteryear.
And I learned how to shoot a rifle at the PAL. And did they even have PALs anymore?
I don't think so. If they do, let us know. Somebody send us info at talkback@GunForHireRadio.com or Anthony at
Police
GunForHire.com.
athletic leagues, if they still have these things.
Yeah, I don't think
That's why I learned how to
so.
shoot a 22.
I don't think they have them anymore. But join the NRA. How much is it for an annual membership now?
I believe it's a hefty $35.
$35. ANJRPC is $40. We talk about this all the time, and if you live in New Jersey, CNJFO. I mean, for a little over $100. And again, for the holidays, give everybody NRA memberships. Let's get the left pissed off. The past president of the NRA from Arizona, Sandy Froman, used to say, if we had 12 million members in the NRA, you know who the next president of the United States would be? Whoever we want.
Right.
Okay? Darin, thank you for being on the show,
Absolutely,
brother.
always it's a pleasure.
Keep fighting, man. We need you.
There, and Josh Bice, he won the.
Ellen, you can sit next to me.
Federal Buck Stand.
I promise I won't touch you.
So it's really weird. We have a lot of wildlife artists that grew up in that
Okay.
area.
Well, you know, not really
your
that
own,
weird,
yeah.
right? Because
No, yeah.
such a beautiful.
I got one water. Share
It's
it.
weird that
Thank you.
two
You're
of
welcome.
such
I know.
notoriety,
Cookies on.
though, came
Yeah.
from the same little town.
Right.
20,000 people. Yeah.
That's great.
Let's go. I'm hungry. Let's do this effort.
Hey, Lou.
We're YouTubing too. So, not live though. Well, we're going to edit it.
I'll try to behave.
Come closer to the mic too. Don't eat the mic though like Scott Bach.
Can you hear me okay?
Say when.
That's there, buddy.
So this segment is brought to you by Gunsitters, gunsitters.com, open locations all over the place. If you have guns that you need temporarily or long-term storage, check out gunsitters.com. Also, go on this website, sonsoflibertyso.com. Sonsoflibertyso.com. Our range just signed on. They have a discount program for people, Pro 2A businesses and everything. We're going to keep it in the family. Sonsoflibertyso.com. So, speaking at the hey Mark, how's everything? Speaking at the conference today was Lou Nappen and his lovely significant other Ellen. So I grabbed them with a hook. And I brought him over here. So, Louis, how are you, sir?
Good to see you again.
Lou Nappen is the man behind the curtain at the Nappen Law Firm, and he spoke today at SafeCon. So, welcome. First time on the show.
First time on the show.
Come a little
Yeah,
closer.
first time.
So talk to us. Tell us what's going on in New Jersey and what we should be afraid of and what people should be doing. It's basically freeform today. There's no. Owen, how are you?
Well, it's wonderful to be here and see all the pro-gun people and speak to a friendly audience.
Should be 10,000 people here, but that's another story.
That's a different story. But the ones who are here, I deeply appreciate it. I was going over some of the disqualifiers and issues that people are running into that I see happening. Some things that are happening, I'm seeing more and more on the wall that you got to be careful about, specifically who you reside with. And be choosy about who you decide to spend your time with. Discretion is very important if you're a gun owner. Beyond that, other issues, some things. I just had a Supreme Appellate Division decision come down 3 days ago. I was very happy about. I got a reversal and a remand on where they found a person who had a prior alcohol problem and has been resolved. Yet the court still decided, in the interest of public health, safety, welfare, sort of usurping around the law on how to handle mental health issues or disease issues. Because he still continued to occasionally have a drink, she was requiring more of an absolute abstinence standard and said, well, it's generally understood if you're once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. That is not the standard. It is the standard, even if you look at the certificate of eligibility, talks about how a recovered alcoholic may answer no to that question.
Correct.
And we need to start
Because
understanding.
it says, are you a habitual drunkard, et cetera, et cetera.
There's about 3 different times in the statute that they talk about, they use these great terms of art. It's really ridiculous questioning people on the stand. You ask somebody, are you a habitual drunkard? And I don't mean any offense by using that term, but that's a term of art that's actually in the statute. There's been a few cases where they've proven that people are that, which is fascinating. I don't know how it's defined specifically in that sense. Are you an alcoholic?
Webster's Dictionary of 1837.
Probably. That's where it's at in terms of. It was beautiful to get a decision where they have to remand it down because they found that she judicially noticed things that could not be and should not be judicially noticed. They need to be either proven or not, or shown. And so we're going to probably end up back in court on it. But at least he gets a second bite to go back and say, hey, I shouldn't have been denied, and this is why.
you deal with these cute prosecutorial tricks every day.
All the time.
They're constantly trying to find ways to wiggle around the statutes and the laws, right?
And this is a big one. Public health, safety, welfare. They just try to say if you have a bunch of little things, oh, public health, safety, welfare, you should be denied. So always try to keep your record clear, and if you have a record, clear it. If you have a mental health issue, make sure you have a doctor or somebody write something and have that in your back pocket that you are not a danger and can safely handle firearms. There's just so many issues that are coming up.
And the Nappen law firm can help with that because I refer a lot of people to them. And so many people come to my range and like, how did this happen? Right? How many people come into your law firm and go, how did this happen? I was a law-abiding citizen for 50 years.
It's amazing, and it's not, and one of my main focus points of my talk today had to do with the fact that you could be perfectly fine, but someone you're residing with has an issue. Right now, I can think of a case where a woman who was 15 years, had a firearm permit, no problem, she gets married, the person she marries and then goes and lives with has an issue. She goes to change her name, or change of name on her firearms ID card, and they deny her because she's residing with somebody now who is barred from firearms, while she herself has a great safe that she's always stored them in. She stored them there even when he was residing and staying over at her house here and there. Never been an issue with firearms, but they're trying to find any little reason. The bigger one along those lines would be also often sons or daughters of people who are perfectly fine gun owners, long-term gun owners, getting into trouble. And when they come for the restraining order on the son, they take all the guns in the house, and then the father, who was perfectly lawful, never gave someone who's barred a firearm, has to fight and get an attorney and try to get his stuff back. It's really become a big mess that way, so be careful.
We've talked about that too on the medical side too, on the federal level, where the psychotropic medications that most kids are on now, when you start classifying things like Ritalin, as a psychotropic drug, all of a sudden now there's a mental health issue in the family, and we can now lose our family.
Speaking of which, isn't there a bill pending saying that they want every public school child to be tested for depression?
Yeah.
So now, on that question, when you have to answer, have you ever been treated, observed, attended regarding...
yes, when I was 5.
Yeah, and
You're 30 years old and now it's a disqualifier.
But don't think that doesn't happen. I get that all the time with people who are later in life, and they have to try and find those records and say and answer what happened when they were. In fact, I had somebody who was even considering bringing a firearm to school back, and that's an awful thought. But this was way before those things started becoming. But he threatened to say, "I was going to," because you make these stupid sayings you say when you're a teenager. He said a stupid thing.
Yep.
But he had to answer it and try to get his record sealed from juvenile, and it will live with you for life the way it never has previously in America.
So this is what we talk about on the show all the time. We warn you all the time that that's why Gun Sitters is important as a place to park your guns, and that's why it's important to have the Nappen Law Firm's business card at hand, because what do you guys say? SAC?
Sure, right. Stay silent, ask for an attorney, and do not give consent.
SAC, silent attorney, and do not give consent to a search.
There's your 4th, 5th, 6th Amendment rights, right, in a nutshell. The questioning should stop as soon as you ask for your attorney, and anything that you should not be used against you. Don't consent to a search because you don't want them, you don't want to give them, if you consent, then they don't have to show the probable cause as to why they went and searched. So you don't stop them physically, but of course you're not going to consent. Why would you? No, I'm not going to, officer.
Lawyer up.
That's right, get a lawyer.
All the time, because the cops will be friendly. Mind if we look around? As soon, you can look around. Boom. No. What you do is you say, here's my attorney, I'm going to call my attorney, I don't want to say anything further from here. Do you have a warrant? No. Here you go. As soon as you give, especially cops, as soon as they see that you're lawyered up, they know that they don't want to pursue it any further. And that could save you a lot of money in the long run.
One of my favorite memes I've seen recently was a bunch of police officers at somebody's door and I see the other side and the gentleman's there and the police saying, "We just want to talk," and the answer was, "Talk amongst yourselves." There's how many of you are out there? Talk amongst yourselves. I've had some great cases along those lines. I had a guy who was adamant about not allowing a officer into his house. Now, I'm not saying ever resist with the restraining order. That's something you do have to do with firearms. But in general, if they're there without a warrant, and there is a warrant section for the taking of firearms pursuant to domestic violence. So if they're there with a warrant, that's a whole different story. But of course, you want to ask, show me the warrant. But we had a gentleman who was cursing up a storm. "Go F yourself. I'm not talking to you. I got nothing to say. I'm not allowing you in." They finally convinced him to open the door. He didn't want to. And they bum rushed him in because they said that they saw a rifle on a chair.
Now there's probable cause, right?
And that's what they say.
Okay.
Was that. It was based, the police were there because of and this is a decision that's, you can read, it's an appellate division decision. I overturned the suppression on appeal, but in a good way. It was upheld in that sense. Because they came there, they said, they were there because he had allegedly threatened somebody. But that person who was allegedly threatened was no longer in the house. So he's no longer being threatened. And then they said they saw the firearm and they came, and that's why they came in. But meanwhile, there's nothing unlawful, as we all know, especially people at this conference, about having a firearm in your house.
Right.
So it was not, they viewed no unlawful behavior. And the one person who they wanted to protect, the person who was allegedly being threatened, was not in the house. Now, yeah, they might be able to have a good reason to come in if there's somebody holding a gun to somebody's head.
Sure.
But that's not this scenario. And all that, everything they found, everything about that had to be tossed out because that was an unlawful search.
He's good. But again, lawyer up. Yes, Sandy.
Exactly. Well, you know, Lou, your brother talks about it all the time too. Is the fact that the cop can lie to you all day long.
Cops can lie to you. You can't lie to them.
And most people don't realize it. They don't know that. That's why it's
Yeah.
important to understand, to come to conferences like this and to have an attorney who is not Jacobian mind, who understands
Yes.
firearms.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Lawyers are not lawyers are not lawyers.
And the classic of that is, remember the TV show The Closer?
Yes.
Yeah.
What was Kira Sedgwick, I believe? What was her main thing? Is that she could put on airs and characters and
Right.
get people to admit things that they normally wouldn't. And part of that was creating a scenario where she's lying to people to get them to admit things, and we got you. And that show was all based on the fact that they could lie to get people to admit things they wouldn't have. And they admit to raping, and it's because they're afraid they're going to get murdered or whatever. It was interesting scenarios. And that happens all the time. This is what we do.
I just grabbed Lou out of the audience and said, "Come on, you're doing shit. What do you want me to talk about?" I don't know. You seem to have done a pretty good job so
Okay,
far.
well, I'm proud to say that.
Because that's what you do.
That's what I do.
And that's why we need people like this, and we have to support people. And again, we talked about it. You came to SafeCon today, $20. You get to hear this, you get to talk to these guys, you get to listen to the conference. There should have been 10,000 people here today. 1 million gun owners in New Jersey, and it's the same 300 or 400 people all the time that are always doing what's necessary, and the rest are armchair activists that complain. The seminar's too far, Trenton's too far, I gotta work. Oh my God, now we have 10-round magazines. How did this happen? This is why it happened, because of apathy and complacency.
Yeah.
That's what
The
happened.
sad part is if you would have changed the name to PA SafeCon and moved 30 miles across the Delaware River, we would have 10,000 people.
MarylandShellIssue.org, that a member is Brooke Powers. He told me to stop belching, and I got 30 petition signatures from him. Did you cut me off? I'll do it when I come back. I gotta go get Cam. You're out.
Okay.
I'm gonna go get Cam. He's outside. You got you. You've done this before?
I think I can figure this out. Ted Nugent, mostly about hunting, which was really interesting conversation to listen to. But yeah, he does these extended conversations.
Say hi, Cam.
Minimum is 2 hours. Some of these things go
One more.
3 hours. But yeah, he just talks to people he finds interesting. I'll let you guys get to work.
Become a phenom.
Yeah, no.
Because he came out of nowhere. I mean, he didn't come from broadcast.
Oh, he was a comedian.
Oh, is that what?
Yeah, he was on the show News Radio.
Last one.
Yeah.
I never
It
even heard of
was
him.
great finally meeting and getting to talk with you.
Yeah, you too, man. Take it easy.
Yeah, I'll let you guys do your thing.
All right, let's go. Let's do this. Thank you, Armand. Armin, you're on that too.
Oh, okay. I don't do stuff with cameras usually, Anthony.
Right. Let's go. Last segment.
All right, coming down to the last break. And stand by.
So we talked about MarylandShellIssue.org supporting me, but my friend Brooke Powers told me if I don't belch on the radio show, he was going to get me petition signatures, and he got me 30 signatures from Maryland. So thank you, NJ SafeCon. So, a couple of hundred patriots here from New Jersey. I find this guy walking the floor, drove 4 hours to get here to be at SafeCon. He's going to speak here today. We got him on the radio show. None other than Cam Edwards from Cam and Company, NRA TV. Hello, Cam. Welcome to the family again.
Hey, Anthony, how are you?
Good, good, good. And you know Sandy already.
Absolutely.
So, what do you think for New Jersey?
I think it's inspiring to see so many people who are Second Amendment activists here, because this is what we need. In fact, we need to double the number of people who are here. And it's great that we've got so many folks who, turned out on a beautiful fall weekend. But you know as well as I do, we got a lot of work to do in this state.
And we talk about all the time what happens in New Jersey doesn't stay in New Jersey. Cam's had me graciously on his show many times, and people say, oh, you're from New Jersey, it's a forgotten state. Listen, when the crappy laws get made in New Jersey, the other states use us as the example to springboard to crappy laws in free states. Am I right?
Absolutely. I mean, we're seeing this right now. So you've got, at the state level, obviously, New Jersey, you've got the mag ban, you've got the semi-auto ban, but then even at the local level, you've got, towns that are making zoning laws that make it impossible for new gun stores to open up.
Correct.
And all of these ideas get picked up and taken nationally. You may see this appear in California next, maybe New York State, but then it starts trickling down to Illinois. Then all of a sudden it's Ohio. Then it's Virginia, right? States that we think of as being pretty good for our Second Amendment. Look, Bloomberg is spending millions of dollars around the country. They have an umbrella organization with Everytown for gun safety that they're just adding to each and every day. And again, there is no safe state. There is no safe place.
Correct.
Anymore.
And they're playing off of emotion.
Yep.
And they get all of these moms to show up with these red shirts on. Moms demand action. I just read in the last segment, Bloomberg planning to spend between 8 to 10 million in Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, and New Mexico. Traditionally not anti-gun states, because they know, let's go after these, traditionally pro-gun states, right? They know that they could chip away at those states, because New Jersey is pretty much done. We're fighting for what little shred of rights we have left, like New York and California. So now they're going after these states, and everybody, the NRA's motto, I repeat it all the time, is stand and fight. You live in this state, you make your living, your kids are here, you have to fight. Cam drove 4 hours to come up here to show his support for us. And, I had people complain that the conference is all the way in South Jersey. Every year John holds it, South, Central, and North.
Right.
And then I asked him, well, you live in Somerset. Did you come to the one in Edison 2 years ago? No, I didn't come to that one. Okay, next time we'll drive the conference to your house. And we'll make sure you're on the clock. We'll get you paid, too. Right. I mean, the apathy and complacency is what kills us.
Absolutely. Look, we saw this in Virginia last year. New Jersey and Virginia both have off-year elections, right? So we had our state legislature was up for a vote last year. We had, going into the elections, Anthony, we had almost a veto-proof majority, almost a two-thirds majority of pro-gun votes in the Virginia House of Delegates, and that majority got narrowed down to a one-vote majority. We
One
lost
vote.
18 pro-gun lawmakers in the House of Delegates last year in Virginia, and a lot of it was apathy. Yes, you can talk about the changing demographics, the influx of people moving into Northern Virginia, for Northern Virginia going blue, but a lot of this was simply gun owners feeling like, it's been 19 years since the Democrats had the House of Delegates. It's been 19 years since we've had a gun control bill passed in Virginia. It's a generation. It's safe. Virginia's a good state. And there was this it wasn't apathy. You're right. It was complacency.
Yep.
because there are people who are they care about their rights, but you got to get off the couch and you got to work for them. And so, again, if you live in North Jersey and an event like this is being held in South Jersey, so it's a 2 or 3 hour drive. Okay, get some buddies.
Correct.
A road trip down here, because the networking alone that you're going to be able to engage in at an event like this, plus getting to hear from people like Scott Pott, getting to hear from Daniel Schmutterman, getting to hear from Anthony Calandro, getting to hear from folks who are fighting this fight every day, learning from them, taking all that in, and then taking it back to your local community. That is how we win, even in a state like New Jersey.
I have the busiest range in New Jersey, and people come in weekly, and they say to me, when did this mag ban pass? I'm going to be a felon? What's the details of the law? I don't even want to talk to them anymore. How do you not know that this is going on? Why aren't you not an NRA member? Why aren't you not an ANJRPC member? Get involved. You spend $1,000 on guns and ammos and shooting, and you don't belong to the NRA for $35 a year or ANJRPC, and a little activism. Come to a rally. We go to Trenton. It's the same 50 people that show up at the State House to testify.
So let me ask you a question. I mean, the people that come in that you just described, the people that are coming into your range, they're spending the money, but they're not activists. Do they feel like they have to keep their head down because they live in New Jersey? They feel like, well, if I start talking about my gun rights, then all of a sudden it's going to, I'm going to get blowback from my job or from my kid's school or something. What is stopping them?
There's Sandy coined the phrase in New Jersey. We have what's known as closet gun owners. So that's one aspect I can understand. If you're a dentist, maybe you don't want to advertise that you're a gun person because maybe you'll lose 50% of your clientele. But that doesn't stop you from writing checks. Do it with your purse. If you can't come down to Trenton, if you own a business or you work, $25, $50, $100, just get involved. We talked about this before. Colonel North wants to double the NRA membership. The holidays are coming. Buy memberships to the NRA for your friends and family. You got a friend you go shooting with. Cam, you love to shoot. Are you an NRA member? No. Okay, good. Buy Cam a membership this Christmas. Maybe he'll like the magazine every month, and maybe he'll join next year. He'll renew. We can't do this anymore. I feel frustrated all the time. We have the show, I have the range, and I'm the range that gets involved politically. So, Scott Bach always tells me all the time, you're sticking your neck out really far. You have a target on your back, But what am I supposed to do? Not fight and just let them usurp our laws one at a time? Too bad. I got to go down there. I call them rich socialists. I do whatever I have to do. I try to, energize the masses, but too many of the masses are helpless.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. I mean, in New Jersey, so I was talking to a gentleman earlier who listens to Cam and Company. He's a fairly new gun owner. In fact, he just said, I've got my permit in right now. And he said, my neighbors just got their letter in the mail for the character references. My boss just got a letter. The fact that you all have to do that.
Yep.
That you have to go through.
We're law-abiding criminals in New Jersey.
I mean, it's amazing that you have to go through that. And so I understand, living in this political environment that we live in, that, again, you worry you stick your neck up, you're going to get it taken off. But the bottom line is in New Jersey, if you want to exercise your rights, you're sticking your neck out, right? Again,
Correct.
Your neighbors are going to know, your employers are going to know, you might as well at that point stand up and be willing to publicly talk about, even if it's just to friends and family, why it is that this fight is so important to you.
I tell customers all the time, they don't own a gun. They'll come in and rent. I'm like, get your firearms ID card. Well, I'm not really going to buy it. But get it, because our politicians look at those numbers. How many people have FID cards in New Jersey? If we have 3 million people, 2 million with FID cards in New Jersey, our politicians are like, whoa, maybe we don't want to piss all of those people off. Again, but in New Jersey, you're right. We have school teachers that won't apply for a permit because they don't want their boss, the principal, to get the letter saying they're going to buy a gun because they're afraid they're going to lose their job. They'll be fired. It's
not
discrimination.
Not an unreasonable fear.
Correct. Correct. It's horrible. It pushes people into the underground. We get treated like pedophiles. And we're the good guys and girls. We're law-abiding citizens. Background checks, fingerprints, mental health references. Every time we go to buy a gun, national instant background check. But people hide. And again, a lot of the gun people, they're detached from the whole political aspect. They enjoy the sport of shooting, but they turn a blind eye to what's going on politically, and then our rights are being taken one slice at a time, and then they complain when a bill becomes a law. Only 37% of registered voters voted in the gubernatorial election, and Kim Godano lost. If every gun owner had voted, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
The gun owners that did vote, they voted voted more for their pocketbook and their pensions than they did
Free
for
stuff
cops.
over freedom.
Yes, cops, teachers, and firefighters are the ones who elected this piece of garbage into office, and they don't care. They will openly say that matters more to me than to be a fireman.
It's disheartening, and I you reach that frustration level. I see the same faces here every year. These are the same people that are at the rallies. These are the same people that I see testifying in Trent. But if you go online, I have 5,000 followers. You'll see 6,000 complaints from people. Where is everybody today? It's a Saturday. You're not working, right? It's just crazy.
The last time we called into Trenton, the biggest complaint was there wasn't the right kind of coffee on the bus.
Yeah, we pay ANJRPC and NRA subsidized the buses. $16,000, and we had complaints, snacks, this, that, and everything. Why aren't the buses closer to my house? Why didn't they leave later? Really, we'll go pick everybody up and drive you down. And then wait, when they come to your house to take your guns, don't blame me.
And the politicians know that we're not going to show up because we show up with the same 3,000 people.
Yep.
If we were to put 40 or 50,000 people in the city of Trenton and shut the city down, they would have no choice but not to ignore us. But instead, they remove the porta potties, they lock the doors, and they don't let us in, and they know that we're out in the pouring, teeming rain, and it doesn't matter because they're laughing at us.
Yeah, but again, as you say, I mean, I don't get the mindset of living in a state where your rights are under siege the way they are, and you're complaining about the coffee on the bus.
Correct.
But then again, they were at least on the bus.
Yes.
Right? So you give them, you're complaining about the coffee, but at least they got on the bus. Maybe we need to start, just like Colonel Worth wants to double the size of the NRA, maybe next year I'll bring a friend here to SafeCon. We all bring somebody with us. We double the SafeCon attendance. We are in such a fight right now, and it's a shame that we also have to fight amongst ourselves.
Correct.
Right? Because, again, if we're all on, you're exactly right. If we're all on that same page, and we don't all have to agree, I know we're going to have the fights over, 1911s versus the Glock. We can have those fights.
All day long.
Right? Absolutely. Those are fun to have. But at the end of the day, at the big picture level, we all have to be involved. And you're absolutely right. If you're not, and you're spending the money, and you're enjoying the shooting sports, and you're enjoying the time at the range, but you don't have any skin in the game,
then shut up.
Well, just shut up, or don't be surprised when your rights disappear entirely.
Correct.
Because even in New Jersey, you've got the chance and you've got the opportunity to make a difference right now.
Yep.
It's not too late.
And we've held the line really good. Christy for 8 years helped us hold the line. Scott Bach, Darin Goens, Dan, everybody that's good. But now all we have left in New Jersey is testifying and lawsuits because we're done. And now Phil Murphy and Senate President Steve Sweeney, they introduced a bill. They're going to allow 600,000 illegal aliens to get driver's licenses under the auspices to make the roads safer. But we know they'll all be registered to vote. So we'll never, ever turn New Jersey partially red again. We're just going to be true blue forever.
It doesn't matter red or blue because this is a blue state, and there are blue gun owners in this state.
Many blue gun owners.
The problem is that they're not being activists. They're not taking they're so willing to roll over to the laws. And we saw it happen. We talked off air about it, where as soon as the mag ban came on, the first questions anybody ever got was, where do I turn my magazines? That's all they were concerned about.
Everybody out there should be listening to Cam and Company every day. If you can't because you're working like I am, I put it on my computer at night when the feed comes up, and I listen to it while I'm working, and I listen to every other state's plight. Cam Edwards has done yeoman's work with advancing Second Amendment rights in the country. Cam, I can't thank you enough. Tell people how they can find you if they don't know, if they've been living under a rock.
NRATV.com, 2 to 5 Eastern weekdays, on Twitter at Cam Edwards, and on demand on iHeartRadio, iTunes as well. And thank you again for everything that you're doing here.
Thank you, Cam. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. We got a ton of classes coming up. I'm not going to even talk about them all. Oh, okay. We have, holster draw, urban carbine 3, urban pistol 1. We have a bunch of classes now, non-resident carry permit, where we teach all over the state, which obviously we can't carry in New Jersey. 1,300 carry permits in New Jersey, 9 million people. And we Oprah'd the state police for the list of the 1,300 people, and they got back to us and said they couldn't give it to us for privacy concerns. Because you know it's all judges and politicians and rich, repulsive socialists that have those carry permits.
But how do you really feel about it?
That's it. I'm done. Thank you again, Cam.
Thanks.
Well, looks like you've done it again. You've wasted yet another perfectly good hour listening to Gun for Hire Radio. Gun for Hire Radio is a Counterthink Media production. The music used in this broadcast was managed by Cosmo Music, LLC, New York, New York, under the license of Broadcast Music Incorporated. I'm Sandy Berardi. On behalf of my co-host, Master Trainer Anthony Palandro, and the rest of the company at Gun for Hire Radio, we do thank you so much for listening. Cam and company, thank you, sir, for coming and being part of
4-hour
this.
drive.
4-hour drive. 4-hour drive. There's no place in New Jersey that takes 4 hours to get here.
And he had to leave his gun home.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Andy.
At the bridge.
Oh, I cleaned out my car very well before I left.
Yeah.
You
Before I left
can't even
Virginia.
have one little shell case
That's
in your
right.
here. You go out in a box. Okay, we love you guys. See you next week. Winston is not here with us.
He's
so
with my parents.
you're a guy. Hey, Rob.
Out. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're the best. You're up next to speak, too.
Yes.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, look at that.
How's that?
Perfect.
Perfect. I'm ready to.
You're going to get him?
I'm gonna start doing this at you.